The Orthodox and Catholic beliefs on the phrase Extra Ecclesium Nulla Salus are essentially the same. This is because the saying is far older than the Great Schism. There is the Church Militant, those of us alive fighting the battle, and the Church Triumphant, those in heaven. There is also the Church Visible, the organization that is the one holy Apostolic and Catholic Church, and the Church Invisible, all of those who are saved by and participating in salvation through Christ. The saying is that there is no salvation outside the invisible Church Triumphant. As Bishop Callistos Ware wrote in the Orthodox Church, Extra Ecclesium Nulla Salus, all the categorical strength and point of this aphorism lies in its tautology. Outside the Church there is no salvation, because salvation is the Church. Does it therefore follow that anyone who is not visibly within the Church is necessarily damned? Of course not. Still less does it follow that everyone who is visibly within the Church is necessarily saved. As Augustine wisely remarked, how many sheep there are without, how many wolves within. There may be members of the Church who are not visibly such, but whose membership is known to God alone. If anyone is saved, he must in some sense be a member of the Church. In what sense we cannot always say. There are many people, very often young converts, almost always online in any case, that think this strictly applies not as a tautological statement, but as a declaration of the utter supremacy and infallibility of their tradition, whether Catholic or Orthodox. In this belief they are mistaken, and that would not even be something ancient fathers believed. St. Augustine coined the concept of the Church Invisible. Justin Martyr indicated that righteous Jews who lived before Christ, and even non-Christians entirely, might still be saved. From Dialogue with Trypho 45, since those who did that which is universally, naturally, and eternally good are pleasing to God, they shall be saved through this Christ in the resurrection, equally with those righteous men who were before them, namely Noah and Enoch and Jacob, and whoever else there be, along with those who have known this Christ. St. Irenaeus wrote, "For it was not merely for those who believed in him in the time of Tiberius Caesar that Christ came, nor did the Father exercise his providence for the men only who are now alive, but for all men together, who from the beginning, according to their capacity, in their generation have both feared and loved God, and practiced justice and piety towards their neighbors, and have earnestly desired to see Christ and to hear his voice." From Against Heresies 4:22. St. Gregory of Nazianzus wrote, "He was ours even before he was of our fold. His manner of life made him one of us. Just as there are many of our own who are not with us, whose lives alienate them from the common body, so too there are many of those outside who belong really to us, men whose devout conduct anticipates their faith. They lack only the name of that which in fact they possess." This interpretation is, of course, not dogmatic, but neither is the phrase, and it can be pretty inflammatory and controversial to some. But it is not a modernist idea by any concept. It is an incredibly ancient one, older than the canon of the Bible. But nothing here means that one does not need the Church, or even a specific church. Apathy in church membership is apathy in faith. Christ built the Church, and any who genuinely seek him would genuinely seek to be members of the Church he commanded built. The sacraments aid in our process of salvation, and within the Church is the only place you will find them. This is like trying to overcome a serious illness. Yes, you might be able to survive without a doctor, and some under a doctor's care might not. But a good doctor with good medicine is going to make it a lot more likely that you'll pull through. One should not seek among others the truth that can be easily gotten from the Church, for in her, as in a rich treasury, the apostles have placed all that pertains to truth, so that everyone can drink this beverage of life. She is the door of life. St. Irenaeus of Lyon, Against Heresies 3:4.